Welcome to this week's electric car news. If this is your first time here, my name is Alex, and if you're interested in electric car topics, well, you are in the right place. Go ahead and click on the subscribe button. And if you already have, then there's a bell notification icon. Go ahead and click on that so you don't miss anything moving forward. Now, let's start with a topic that I was trying not to cover last week because I thought it was a non-story, but so many people made such a big deal out of it, so I kind of have peer pressure now to do this, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So Tesla has fired hundreds of employees last week, and they said, hey, listen, it's our annual performance review, and those people who underperformed, we'll let them go. As a consumer, I think that's actually not a bad idea. I hope that Starbucks down the street would do that once in a while. And here in Silicon Valley, I have to say, this is not an uncommon thing to do, but a lot of people freaked out saying, what's going on? They're in the middle of production hell. Why are they firing all these employees? Some people are saying, maybe pro-union employees were targeted. There is no proof to that, but I really don't know why people are freaking out over this. This is about 1% of their workforce. They're hiring aggressively. I think there's almost 3,000 postings for job openings on their website. So I don't really see how this is a story, but nevertheless, people freaked out, and it is what it is. Now, there are a couple other things that are connected to this, and there are a couple of lawsuits that have been filed. One was for the racial slurs that some of the employees said they were called while they were working there, and nothing was done when they reported that. And another one was anti-LGBT harassment lawsuit. Now, these are all accusations, and I have to say that here in Silicon Valley, I've been here for 25 years, I don't see this happening. I've never seen this happening here. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but I have a really hard time believe that this would be just out in the open. I know Tesla HR is pretty aggressive, and they would have put a letter on it, if they're really doing what I understand they're doing, which being very strict with their employees. So I'm going to go ahead and wait and see what happens with this. Now, Tesla came out and said this, and I agree that, hey, listen, there hasn't been a single case that was proven as far as any kind of employee discrimination in their company. I know they're still pretty young, but I'm going to go and just see. And I think that's the right thing to do, see what happens with this. This is not the best news for them, probably not good PR, but, let's just see what happens. I think I'm going to leave it at that. Let's move on to Tesla insurance. Did you guys know that Tesla now offers insurance? I reported it last week, and I myself said that I had no idea until I was browsing through some news to make the news segment for you, and realized that they're now offering it through Liberty Mutual here in the United States. Now, I rushed to my computer and submitted the quote. Unfortunately, I got this message over here saying that they can't offer it to me, but at least online in real time. But they did email me and saying, hey, listen, can you give us more information? I said, hey, that's cool. Gave them all information, never heard back. And I was wondering what experience other people were having with this. And so I posted a poll in my Facebook group that I have for Tesla Model S owners. And check this out, 62%, at least at this point, never even heard of this. Never even heard that Tesla is offering this service. Now, I myself was a little bit surprised because I thought, hey, how come I didn't hear from them, and I own 2 Teslas, and I didn't hear that they're offering this service, and that was odd. So apparently I'm not alone. 62% people never heard of it. Now the rest of them did apply, and 27% told me in this poll that they got a worse quote than they already have. Now, I think a lot of us Tesla owners are not very happy with what's going on with our rates. I know I started with about $120 a month, and just for no reason at all, 4 years later, almost 5 years later, now it's $200. And parts are getting more available. There are more certified body shops. So not really sure why it's going up so aggressively. And obviously, I was excited about this news until they never replied to me. Now, 2% said that the quote was the same. Another 2% said that it was better. And 7%, which obviously includes me, said there was no response. And one guy actually said, hey, when I called them up, they had no idea that this is a thing. They had no idea that the Liberty Mutual is doing it. So it's a bit of a mess, which I think tells me why they maybe have not really like publicized it yet. Now they did mention it early in the year that they're going to try to do this, and if it doesn't work out, they're just going to go ahead and roll out their own thing. Now, running an insurance company, it's not like running a coffee shop, so I'm assuming it's going to be a big deal. I hope they work things out with Liberty Mutual. I actually like Liberty Mutual, so I hope they can work it out, but for now, it's a bit of a mess. Let's move on to another mess that Tesla found themselves into this week, which is their ongoing fight with Consumer Reports. As you know, they were originally rated very highly by Consumer Reports, and everything was cool until they weren't. And then they started, accusing Consumer Reports for, inaccurate reporting and all that stuff. And I really wish if they were accusing them of something, they would have more evidence. I just didn't feel they had enough. Well, this week, Consumer Reports upgraded the Model S from average to above average, which is, you would think, would be a good thing, but no. At the same time, they took a shot at the Model 3 with a predicted reliability rating, which is basically a bunch of BS, right? They're basically saying, well, based on what we think of this company, this is what this new car reliability is going to be, which in Tesla's case is really just shot in the dark, because it's a completely new model. And I wouldn't be predicting them, but they gave it a low rating, and of course Tesla got all upset about it and started accusing them back. And it's a bit of a childish play that they're really kind of engaging in right now. I wish they wouldn't, but it's fun to watch, and let's see what happens with that. I mean, on one hand, I like that they're fighting back if the information really is inaccurate, but at the same time, I would like to see a little bit more information from Tesla about Consumer Reports, what it is that they think they're doing wrong. Now, by the way, as a Tesla owner, I'm on my third Tesla. Listen, even now, this is a still brand new company, if you think about it, right? And we're still guinea pigs, and this car is just not going to be like that reliable. There's still going to be little things here and there that they're consistently updating it. The Model 3 is brand new, Model X is only 2 years old. There will be problems, and I think when you're signing up for this, getting a Tesla, you're not getting it exactly because you think it's going to be a reliable car, right? It's going to be a safe car, but a reliable, I don't think that's the expectation. So I'm not really sure why Tesla is getting all upset about it, but they are. And that's a little bit of a more drama this week with them. Let's move on to Volvo. As you know, they one of the first companies came out and said they're going to electrify their fleet in the next few years, which is great. And the company that they own, Polestar, is a company that's supposed to kind of lead the way. But this week they've announced something very confusing. They announced that they came out with a brand new car, Polestar 1, right here, and it's going to be a hybrid. It's going to be a hybrid, which is not perfect, but it's going to go 90 miles, 93 miles, I think, on electric charge, and then the gas motor is going to kick in, and that's okay. But then right away, they announced that they're going to come out with a Polestar 2, and that's going to be all electric, and it's going to be pretty much at the same time right around the corner in 2019. So that's kind of weird. They came out with a car that's pretty much going to be replaced by a better version of that car right away. On top of that, they said that the Polestar 1, they will only make 500 per year, which really, I don't even know why bother, because you have to support this car. And so very confusing, but nevertheless, Volvo is moving forward with their Polestar brand, and that's exciting. Let's hope what comes out of it, but I wish it just wasn't as confusing. Amazon actually is in the news for electric cars this week, which is exciting because they apparently had their patent that they applied for in 2014 granted to them, and the patent is pretty futuristically interesting because what they're going to do is well, I'm not saying they're going to do it, they patented, right? The patent is for the drone to go to your car and charge it from the drone if it needs charging. Now, it's not going to do it while the car is driving, not like it's in movies, but you will have to schedule location. The drone will fly in, charge you in, and peel off. So kind of exciting, but at the same time, it's Amazon. I like Amazon. I'm a customer, but I hope this technology is a little bit better than they have in their Alexa product, which I still can't even have the damn thing to turn my air conditioning on. So I really hope they test this one before they move us into the future like that. So, but it is exciting. It's cool to even think about it. But I would say it's years away. Nevertheless, the patent's been granted, so I'm assuming they're developing it in one way or another. Let's go back to Tesla. Another news is that their mobile service, which they launched this year, which is pretty cool because you don't have to go to them when they're having problems. Most problems, they're saying they can fix most of them by coming to you. Now, there's a picture of my car being serviced by them earlier this year, which was great because I really didn't have to come out of my office building. I just remotely unlocked it and it was fixed. So that's awesome. But of course, people were starting to say, but wait a second, those vans, they're gas cars, this is ridiculous, and it's already in line of everything else where haters would say that factories is still running off of the grid and not the solar panels, or the trucks that are delivering parts, they're all gas trucks. And I mean, yes, I know the rational explanation is that you can't do everything overnight, but I don't think it's a rational conversation, so whatever. But Tesla decided to respond to this one, and they said, you know what, we'll do it. So from now on, next year, they're going to make sure that their mobile service fleet is also electric. Model S and Model X cars are the ones that are going to employ in their fleet. So that's kind of exciting. I don't think it was necessary, but I think it's pretty exciting. Chevy Bolt, as you know, their popularity has been growing this year despite their horrific look as far as I'm concerned. Though I have met quite a few people who actually like it. So I didn't think they existed, but apparently they do. But they are testing their fully autonomous self-driving features, and they've been doing it for a while, but now they're actually going to do it in Manhattan, which is supposedly one of the toughest cities to launch this technology in as far as the United States is concerned. So they're going to test it there. And I have to say that Chevy Bolt and Chevy in general, they might bypass, if they haven't already, Tesla with their autonomous driving technology, because they seem to be pushing this forward and things are going well, at least from the outside, where Tesla is still struggling to catch their 2.5 and 2.0 software to the previous one done by the Mobileye, which is 1.0. So I'm wondering if that race is kind of neck and neck at this point, and I'm wondering if Chevy is pulling ahead. So I thought it was kind of an interesting story. Let's see what happens. But I think Tesla definitely has a serious competition now from Chevy. And back to Tesla, because as you know, the charging port that they have is kind of cool, right? It's kind of hidden behind that little light fixture, and it opens up, and pretty impressive actually. A lot of people really like it, but they realized that, hey, in a lot of cases you have to use an adapter if you want to use a standard plug, whatever it is, and for different countries is different. So in China, they're trying this thing out, and they're actually going to have both plugs, the Tesla plug and a standard GB, the standards in China, side by side. So you don't have to use an adapter. Now, because of that, it requires a little more space. So they're going to move it down, and it's really going to look like a little door for the, like in a gas car like this, which is not as exciting, but at least that solves that problem. I'm gonna assume this is temporary because sooner or later I'm hoping the world will just kind of agree on one plug configuration for the rest of the world, and there will be just one. And maybe it won't even be a plug. Maybe it will be a wireless technology or whatever. But for now, it looks like Tesla's solving it with two plugs in their Model S and Model X cars in China. We'll see if they do it for the rest of the world. So I thought it was interesting. So pretty turbulent week. A lot of interesting news. There will be more news coming up in the next few weeks. I can't wait. Every time I'm getting ready to do the segment, I'm like, oh my God, what else has happened? It's really turning into like a little soap opera sometimes with all the fighting, and one brand is trying to outdo the other ones, and now Tesla is in the mix almost in every story. So this is exciting, guys. I'm really enjoying doing this. So if you have any comments, of course, put it down in the comment section. Other than that, I will see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.